Hey guys, what's up and welcome to iCode. So in this video, we're going to be learning about loops in Swift 3. Basically, there are two kinds of loops in Swift 3. One is for loop and other is while loop. For this particular video, we're going to be concentrating on while loops. So let's get started. So open up Xcode and create a new playground. We are back to playground guys from projects. So go to file, new, playground. And what is this? Okay. Now name of our playground, while loops. While loop. Platform is iOS, so tap on next and save this on desktop. Great. And now let me just get rid of this. Okay. Now, what if I asked you to print numbers from 1 to 10 in the console? So you may be thinking something like this. So print 1, print 2, print 3, print 4, print 5. Okay, let me just copy this so it makes my life easy. So print 5, so print 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. And now you can see that numbers got printed out in the console from 1 to 10. Great, you made it. And now, what if I asked you to print numbers from 1 to 100? Not even 1 to 100, but 1 to 1000. And now you can see that it's a pretty tedious process to print numbers from 1 to 1000 in the same fashion that we did right now, right here, printing out all the numbers. And this is where while loops come into play. And let me show you how while loop works. Okay, let me just get rid of all these prints. Great. And now, let me just create a counter variable. So let me just create a counter variable I and let me just initialize this value to 1. Okay, and now we start by saying while, okay, sorry guys, while, and this particular while loop runs till this particular condition, that is I less than 10. So this particular while loop continues till this variable I is less than 10 and it executes this part of code, the code that we are going to be typing in this area between these flower brackets. This particular code, part of code, gets executed for every loop. You got it? That is, whenever this I is less than 10, this part of code gets executed. I think you got it, right? Okay, well done. And now what I'm going to be saying is I'm going to be printing I for every loop, and also I'm going to be increasing this value, that is value of I, by 1 for every loop. Okay, let me just explain you what's happening in this while loop. So here we got I equal to 1, that is the value of I equal to 1. Next, it checks if this I is less than 10. Of course, 1 is less than 10. So this particular code gets executed, that is print I. So I is 1, so 1 is getting printed out here in the console. Next, this I is getting incremented by 1 here. So I equal to I plus 1. So I equal to 1 plus 1. So I is now 2 guys. Okay. So again it checks if I is less than 10. Of course 2 is less than 10. So again 2 gets printed out. So 2 got printed out. And again 2 gets incremented, that is by 1. So I equal to 2 plus 1. So I is now 3. Similarly, it just executes every loop till I is less than 10. So at certain point this I will be becoming 10, and of course 10 is not less than 10. So it just exits while loop. 10 is not getting printed out right here. Here you can see from the console, it just got printed out only from 1 to 9. But what do we want? We want the numbers to be printed out from 1 to 10, right? So what I'm gonna say is this particular while loop gets executed till I is less than or equal to 10. So now you can see that we got the numbers printed out from 1 to 10. We made it, and this is how while loop works. So if you are still confused how this while loop is working, let me just give you another example so that you'll get a clarity how this while loop is actually working. So let me just get rid of all this so that we could just jump over to our second example. And for this particular example, I'm going to be creating an array of numbers. So array of numbers, so our numbers is equal to square brackets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Great. And guys, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to print out some of all these numbers in this array into the console. Basically, I'm going to print out 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus until 10. And let me just show you how I'm making this possible using while loops. So, as always, we have a counter variable, and this particular counter variable starts from 0, as array position always starts from 0. Got it? Okay. And now we start by saying while, and this particular loop continues till I is less than numbers dot count, and the code that we type in here gets executed for every loop. So what I'm gonna need to do is, okay, let me just create another variable sum, so that you could get sum of all these numbers into this particular variable. So for every loop that gets executed, what I'm gonna need to do is sum equal to sum plus numbers of I, and I equal to I plus 1, and after this loop ends, I'm going to print out this particular sum. And now you can see the sum in the console. Yes, so sum of all these numbers is 55, and of course 1 plus 2 till 10 is 55. And guys, now let me just explain you what's happening in this while loop. So basically we start from I equal to 0, that is this particular position having 1, okay? And now as I is less than numbers.count is nothing but 10, the size of the array. So 0 is less than 10. As 0 is less than 10, this particular code gets executed. That is, sum gets incremented by this particular value, that is numbers I, that is numbers 0, that is nothing but this particular value 1. So sum will be now 1, and next this particular I value gets incremented as well, that is I equal to I plus 1. So I will be now 0 plus 1. So I is now 1. So again it checks if 1 is less than numbers.count. Of course 1 is less than numbers.count, so this particular code gets executed again. So basically what's happening is this particular while loop is summing up all the numbers of the array till this condition is valid, that is I is less than numbers.count, and that is the reason we got this particular sum printed out in the console as 55, that is sum of all these numbers in the array. And guys, this is how while loop works. It's that easy. Just play around with it, and if you have any doubt in this particular video, just comment down below and I'll respond to you as fast as I can. And as I said, there are two kinds of loops in Swift tree. One is while loop that we have already learned, and the other is for loop, which we're going to be learning in our next video. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll be back with another awesome video. Goodbye till then.